Okay, imagine this. You're sitting in your math class in high school. Your teacher's teaching a new topic, classmates are writing down their notes, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of class, you ask yourself, why am I learning any of this? When am I going to use any of this information? I mean, sure, statistics, it's easy to see how we need that, but algebra, geometry, trigonometry, when am I going to need to know that? Is Trisha going to break up with me because I don't know what the unit circle is? What's the point? Well, if you're studying engineering or computer science, the simple answer is calculus. Now, maybe you know nothing about calculus, or maybe you've already taken calculus. Either way, when it comes to calculus, I think it's important to understand two things. And that's one, calculus is different than any other math class you've taken before, and that's because two, calculus is when things get real. And let me explain. So I have an egg, and let's pretend that this egg represents a branch of mathematics, like algebra. Now, there's a lot that you can do with an egg. Boil it, fry it, hatch it. But if someone asked you to make bread or pasta, you wouldn't be able to do that with just an egg. Now, if algebra is an egg, then calculus is a cake. Because calculus uses the math that you learned in high school, like algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and it combines them together to make a branch of mathematics that can start to explain in mathematical terms the whole physics of our world. Calculus, woo! Every branch of math has a superpower. Algebra has the power to manipulate mathematical symbols. Geometry lets us understand shapes. Calculus lets us analyze continuous change. I'm not going to teach you calculus in this video, but I do want to show you how calculus is real-world math. Okay, so imagine you're an Uber driver driving a passenger down a busy highway. These are our vehicles. Now, because of traffic, you're speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. Your passenger is getting really impatient. He starts asking menial questions like, how much have you been accelerating in the past minute? And you don't know because, well, you're driving, but also you realize your accelerometer is broken. But your speedometer is working just fine. Now, using calculus, we can actually find your acceleration at any point in time if we know your velocity using something called a derivative. A derivative is a fundamental tool that we learn in calculus that lets us find the rate of change of a function with respect to an argument. Or in this case, a derivative lets us find the acceleration using our velocity with respect to time. How does it do this? Well, that's a question for your professor. In fact, the first half of calculus teaches you all about this idea. It's that important, and not only can you use this idea to find the acceleration of your car, but you can expand this idea to model other movements, like a rocket ship, or even calculate the maximum amount of profit or loss in a business. Now, if you're a college student, your course experience is going to range between very intuitive or very challenging, and that depends on your current level of math and your work ethic. Every successful engineer isn't in love with math, but every successful engineer is a hard worker. So here are 3 tips to help you not just with math, but with college. 1. Always show up for class. You're gonna have a much easier life in college the sooner you set up a routine. Do you have a job? Do you wanna go to the gym 5 days a week? Do you wanna allocate a couple hours for free time? That's great, but make a consistent schedule and understand that classes are part of your routine. When you skip class, you're actively sabotaging yourself, and it's a slippery slope. Nothing feels worse than going back to class and having no idea what your professor is talking about, which leads me to my second tip. 2. Know your resources. When Batman goes out to fight crime, he uses all the tools in his belt to catch the bad guys. When you're fighting for that A+, you better use a whole arsenal of resources to catch that grade. So here's a list of resources that you should be aware of. Office hours. Your professor will have office hours, always. Go in there, ask him any questions that you have. A professor will be more empathetic to a student that he or she really knows. And if you've been working hard It may make the difference between a B plus and an A. Tutoring Center. UNLV has a handful of tutoring centers, but the one I recommend is the Engineering Tutoring Center on the second floor of TBEA. That center is run by graduate students. They're going to be able to help you with your harder classes every step of the way. Peer tutoring. I always talk to my classmates and get their contact information. During midterms and finals week, you're going to find a lot of students that want a group study, and honestly, it's a great way to learn the material and just review the material. If you can teach another person the material, then you understand the material. And 3, get involved. When I started college, it was tough at first getting my footing. I knew what I was studying, but I couldn't really see where my courses were taking me. That all changed when I joined student organizations. Not only did it help me realize my goals with some of the smartest, funniest, most driven, passionate people I've met through student orgs. Any questions I had, any advice I needed, there were people that I could turn to for anything. They became my mentors. And when they graduated, I vowed to become the same people that I look up to. No matter what club it is, no matter what project or competition, in addition to taking your classes, go out and get involved. College is the next chapter in your book. So how are you going to fill it out? Good luck with the semester. Peace.